Your identity begins with what you answer to. Consider this for a moment. When a name is called, your name, you respond. It is a fundamental transaction of recognition. But what of the names you no longer wish to answer to? The old roles, the past selves, the stories that have been told about you, and that you have told yourself. These too are names. The unworthy, the abandoned, the failure. The victim. You have answered to these names, perhaps for lifetimes. You have given them your energy, your focus, your psychic lifeblood. To withdraw this energy is a profound act of spiritual alchemy. It is the beginning of true freedom. What is no longer named, what is no longer fed with the power of your attention, begins to dissolve. It is a law of the subtle realms. Energy follows thought. Attention is the currency of creation and of sustenance. Where you place your attention, you place your power. So, I ask you, where has your power been going? Has it been flowing into the maintenance of a narrative that no longer serves you? Into the ghosts of a past relationship, a former career, a version of yourself that is but a shadow? You may think you are simply remembering, simply processing. But I tell you, there is a fine line between processing and perpetually recreating. Every time you inwardly answer to the name of the one who was hurt, you reinforce the energetic structure of that identity. You pour fresh concrete into the mold of that old story. The process of dissolving these old names is not one of aggressive opposition. You do not fight the old self. You do not wrestle it into submission. To do so is to give it more of your precious attention, more of your power. You simply turn away. You withdraw your recognition. When the old name is called, either by your own mind's habit or by the world around you, you do not respond. You let it echo into the void, unanswered. This is the death of the former name. It is a kit internal process. It requires vigilance. Yes, but a gentle vigilance. Imagine you are in a crowded room, and a name is called that sounds like yours, but is not. You might momentarily turn your head, a flicker of automatic response, but you quickly realize this is not for you, and you turn back to your own conversation. You must learn to do this with the names of your past. There's that old feeling of inadequacy again. That is not my name. I do not answer to that, and you gently, lovingly, turn your attention back to who you are now, to the I am presence. That is your eternal truth. This act of non-response starves the old form, energetic constructs, thought forms, old identities. They are like psychic parasites. They cannot survive without a host. You have been a most gracious host, have you not? Offering your energy freely, keeping these old stories alive within your field. Now, it is time to reclaim your home, to declare that this temple, your consciousness, is no longer available for rent to these old tenants. Think of it as a psychic You go through the attic of your mind and you find old clothes, old letters, old photographs. You do not burn them with rage. You look at them, perhaps with a sense of fondness for the lessons they represent, and then you let them go. You release your attachment to them. You cease to identify with them. The person in that photograph is not you. It is a version of you that once was, a role you once played. The story in that letter is not your story now. It is a chapter that has been read and is now complete. The world will try to call you back to your old names. People who knew you when will interact with the version of you that lives in their memory. They will project their old image onto you. Your task is not to convince them otherwise. Your task is not to argue or defend your new self. Your task is to simply not resonate with their projection, to remain so firmly anchored in your present identity that their call finds no purchase, no hook, no place to land within your energy field. It will simply slide off. They are calling a name that is no longer in residence. This withdrawal of psychic energy is a sacred act. It creates a vacuum, a space, and into this space, the new can be born. You cannot pour fresh, vibrant wine into a vessel still filled with the stale dregs of the old. You must empty the cup first. This emptiness may feel strange at first. It may even feel like a loss. You have identified with your stories for so long, even the painful ones, that their absence can feel like a loss of self. But what is truly being lost? Only the limitation, only the cage. The bird is not the cage. You are not your story. You are the consciousness that experienced the story. You are the eternal, unchanging awareness behind the ever-changing masks of personality and experience. By letting the old names die, you are not annihilating yourself. You're allowing your true self, your divine I Am presence, to emerge more fully, to shine more brightly through the vessel of your human form. Begin this practice today. Notice the names you answer to, the subtle ones, the whispers of the inner critic, the echoes of old family dynamics, the phantom limb of a past identity. When you notice them, do not judge yourself for it. Simply observe and make a new choice. I do not answer to that name anymore. Turn your attention to a flower, to the sensation of your breath, to the feeling of gratitude in your heart, to the simple profound truth of your own existence in this very moment. Each time you do this, you loosen a thread. You reclaim a quantum of energy. You dissolve a piece of the old structure. This is not a one-time event. It is a moment-to-moment practice of self-reclamation. It is a gentle but relentless turning toward the light of your own being. The death of the former name is not a morbid affair. It is a liberation. It is the crumbling of a prison wall. What is no longer named begins to dissolve. So, what name will you answer to now? Will you answer to the infinite, boundless, creative power that you truly are? Or will you continue to give your life force to the ghosts of yesterday? The choice, as always, is yours. Your identity is forged in this choice, in this present moment. It is the alchemy of attention. Where you look, you live. Choose to live in the freedom of your unnamed, unlimited self. The psychic energy you reclaim is immense. Think of the sheer volume of power you have expended over the years, energizing these obsolete identities. It is a vast reservoir. As you withdraw it, this energy becomes available to you now. It becomes fuel for your present creations, for your healing, for your expansion. It is not lost. It returns to the central treasury of your own sovereign being. This reclaimed energy will begin to resculpt your reality. As your inner world changes, your outer world must follow. It is below. People, situations, and opportunities that resonated with your old names will begin to fall away naturally. It may seem as if the world is changing around you, but in truth, you have changed the energetic signal you are broadcasting, and the universe is simply recalibrating its response to match your new frequency. Do not mourn the departure of the old. Celebrate it as evidence of your successful inner work. You are creating a new magnetic center within yourself. Instead of being a magnet for experiences that confirm your old stories of lack or sorrow, you become a magnet for experiences that affirm your new identity of wholeness, of abundance, of love. This is not wishful thinking. This is quantum physics. This is spiritual law. You are a broadcasting station. Change the broadcast, and you change the reception. This is the deeper meaning of let the dead bury their dead. You are not to live amongst the tombs of your past selves. You ought to walk forward into the vibrant, living light of the eternal now. The former names belong to the past. They are energetic corpses. To continue to identify with them is to practice a form of psychic necrophilia, attempting to draw life from that which is lifeless. Turn away. Let them be. Allow them to return to the undifferentiated cosmic dust from which they came. Your life is here. Your power is now. Your identity is I Am. That is the only name that has ever been truly yours. Every other name has been a temporary costume, a role played upon the stage of time and space. The play is over for those old roles. The curtain has fallen. Do not linger backstage, clinging to the old script. Walk out into the fresh air of your own divine presence. What is no longer named begins to dissolve. Let it. The space it leaves is the fertile ground for miracles. The silence it leaves is the canvas upon which you will paint your new reality, with the vibrant colors of your reclaimed power and your conscious choice. The dissolution is a grace. It is a clearing. It is the holy emptiness that precedes all divine creation. Embrace Italiano. You seek knowledge, but you dissipate your power in the very act of seeking. You speak too much. Every word you utter is a crack in the vessel of your being, a fissure through which your vital force, your very essence, seeps away. You explain, you justify, you confess. Why? To whom do you owe this constant narration of your soul? Every explanation is a surrender of your position. You give away your ground, inviting judgment, inviting analysis from minds that cannot comprehend the depth of your own reality. When you explain your actions, your motives, your magic, you reduce it to the mundane. You flatten the multidimensional truth of your experience into a two-dimensional story that others can easily digest and, more often than not, dismiss. Stop feeding your power to the court of public opinion. Their verdict is meaningless. And you confess. Oh, how you love to confess. You confess your doubts, your fears, your perceived failures. You treat your friends, your family, even strangers, as a confessional booth. With every admission of weakness, you reinforce that weakness within your own energetic field. You are speaking it into greater reality. You are programming your subconscious to accept failure as a part of your identity. What you perceive as a plea for comfort is, in fact, an invitation for energetic parasites. You broadcast your vulnerabilities, and the universe, in its impartiality, sends you experiences that match the frequency of your broadcast. To confess your struggles is to pray for more of them. Hold your own counsel. Your struggles are sacred. They are the alchemical fire in which your soul is being tempered. Do not expose this sacred process to the cold, damp air of external pity. Consider the power you wield, the power you could wield if you simply held your tongue. Silence is not emptiness. It is a plenum. It is a container for power. When you cease the endless external chatter, the internal chatter also begins to subside. In that kid, you can finally hear. You can hear the subtle whispers of your higher self, the guidance of your own divine intelligence. You can perceive the energetic currents of the world around you, no longer deafened by the noise of your own making. Power does not announce itself. The truly powerful move in silence. Their actions are their words. Their results are their explanation. When they speak, it is not to describe what they have done or what they will do. When they speak, their words are the act itself. They speak, and reality shifts. This is the mark of the adept, the one who has become unrecognizable to the profane world. The world sees them, but it does not understand them, for they offer no user manual, no explanation of their being. They simply are, and in their being, they are a force of nature. The unrecognizable one does not engage in debate. They do not argue. They do not seek to convince. To do so would be to step down from their throne of power and meet others on a lower plane of vibration, a plane of duality and conflict. Why would they expend energy trying to convince a shadow that the sun exists? They simply stand in the light. Their presence is the only argument necessary. Those who have eyes to see will see. Those who are deaf will hear nothing, regardless of how loudly you shout. Your words are seeds. Every time you speak, you are planting something in the garden of reality. Are you planting weeds of doubt, fear, and self-limitation? Or are you planting seeds of power, sovereignty, and divine will? Most of you are unconscious gardeners, scattering seeds carelessly, wondering why your life is overgrown with thorns and poison ivy. The discipline of silence is the practice of conscious gardening. You choose your seeds with intention. You speak only when the word that needs to be spoken is so potent, so aligned with universal law, that it cannot help but manifest. To speak only when speech alters reality. This is your goal. Think of the energy you waste every day. The gossip, the complaints, the idle speculation, the rehashing of old stories. Each of these is a leak. You are a magnificent vessel, designed to hold an infinite ocean of cosmic power, but you are riddled with holes of your own making. Plug the leaks. The first and greatest leak is your mouth. When you feel the urge to explain yourself, pause, breathe. Ask yourself, will this explanation empower me, or will it diminish me? When you feel the urge to confess a weakness, pause, breathe. Turn inward and offer that weakness to the fire of your own divine spirit for transmutation, rather than offering it to the world for consumption. When you feel the urge to speak simply to fill a space, pause, breathe. Savor the power that is building within that silent space. Become comfortable in the quiet. It is your temple. This is not a vow of total silence. It is a discipline of intentional speech. It is about understanding that your words are not cheap. They are the currency of creation. Spend them wisely. Invest them in the reality you wish to build, not the one you wish to escape. When you master the discipline of silence, you will find that you no longer need to seek power. Power will seek you. It is drawn to a vessel that can hold it. When you cease leaking your energy through pointless talk, you become a deep, still reservoir. And all of creation is thirsty. Opportunities, synchronicities, and miracles will flow to you, not because you chase them, but because you became a worthy container for them. You will become unrecognizable because you will no longer be defined by the stories you tell about yourself. You will be defined by the presence you command, by the reality you shape, by the quiet, unshakable certainty that radiates from your very core. You will not need to tell anyone who you are. They will know. They will feel it. Your silence will be more eloquent than any speech. It will speak of mastery, of self-possession, of a direct and unfiltered connection to the source of all things. Practice this. Today, choose one explanation you will not give. Choose one complaint you will not voice. Choose one confession you will not make. With each word you withhold, you reclaim a piece of your power. You mend one of the cracks in your vessel. You take one step closer to becoming the silent, immovable center of your own universe. The master whose every chosen word is a command that reality rushes to obey. Do not speak of this practice. Simply do it. The results will be your testimony. A testimony that requires no words, no explanation, no It will simply be. The power you accumulate in silence will become a light that needs no announcement, for it will be seen from worlds away. The path to true magic is paved with the words you do not speak. Each unspoken justification, each unvoiced complaint, is a stone laid perfectly in place, leading you back to the throne of your own sovereignty. Walk Tispot. The power is not in the speaking. It is in the holding. It is in the knowing when to speak and when to let the universe witness your action in profound, deafening silence. This silence is the womb of creation, and from it, your new reality will be born. You carry contracts you never consciously signed. These are agreements etched not on paper, but upon your very soul, your energy field. They are the invisible threads of expectation, the heavy chains of guilt, the dense fog of obligation. They dictate your choices, drain your vitality, and keep you tethered to patterns that no longer serve your highest evolution. Think of the daughter who feels an unspoken duty to sacrifice her dreams for her aging parents, a contract of filial piety that has become a prison. Or the friend who constantly gives, bound by an unwritten rule that their worth is measured by their service to others. These are not pacts made in love, but in fear of disapproval, fear of abandonment, fear of being seen as selfish. These contracts are often inherited, passed down through generations like ancestral debts. The belief that you must struggle to be worthy, that you must suffer to be spiritual, that you must shrink yourself to make others comfortable. These are clauses in a contract you never agreed to. They were handed to you at birth, reinforced in childhood, and solidified by a society that thrives on these subtle forms of control. You might feel a constant, low-level anxiety, a sense of being perpetually indebted to someone or something, without ever being able to name your creditor. This is the signature of an invisible contract at work. It hums in the background of your life, a dissonant frequency that disrupts your harmony and blocks your connection to your true sovereign self. Many seek elaborate rituals to break these bonds. They light candles, they chant incantations, they call upon angels and guides. And while intention is powerful, these external acts are often a distraction from the true seat of power, which resides within you. The most potent ritual, the most powerful spell, the most sacred ceremony is a simple, unequivocal, and conscious act of refusal. It is the declaration from the core of your being. I no longer consent. You do not need permission. You do not need a witness. You do not need a grand celestial event. Your sovereign will is the only authority required. Look within your life. Where do you feel drained? Where do you feel resentful? Where do you act out of a sense of, I have to, rather than I choose to. These are the signposts pointing directly to the contracts that bind you. A relationship that demands you diminish your light. A job that siphons your life force for a paycheck. A family dynamic that thrives on your guilt. These are not your destiny. They are energetic agreements you have the absolute power to terminate. The moment you recognize one of these contracts, you have already begun the process of dissolving it. Awareness is the light that makes the invisible visible. The process is one of radical self-honesty. You must be willing to see how you have benefited from these contracts, even as they have imprisoned you. Perhaps the contract of being the responsible one gave you a sense of identity and importance. Perhaps the contract of being the peacemaker saved you from confronting difficult truths. Acknowledging this secondary gain is not about self-blame. It is about reclaiming your power with full awareness. You see the mechanics of the trap, and in seeing them, you are no longer trapped. You are the observer, and the observer is always free. So, how do you refuse? You do it with your choices, moment by moment. When the familiar pool of obligation arises, you pause. You breathe. You connect with the sovereign flame within your heart, the I Am presence. And from that space, you choose differently. You say no without guilt. You set a boundary without apology. You prioritize your own well-being without needing to justify it. Each time you do this, you snip a thread. You weaken the energetic structure of the contract. It is not a single, dramatic act of severing, but a consistent, conscious unraveling. Imagine yourself standing in a great hall. All around you are figures from your past and present, each holding a glowing thread connected to you. Your parents, your partners, your ancestors, your society. You can feel the pull, the weight of their collective expectations. Now, from your heart center, a violet flame ignites. It is the flame of transmutation, the fire of freedom. With a single thought, a single intention, you expand this flame. It does not burn them. It does not attack them. It simply dissolves the threads. It vaporizes the contracts. You see them turning to dust, to light, and you are left standing, untethered, in your own radiant energy. This is not an act of aggression. It is an act of liberation. It frees not only you, but also them, releasing them from the role of enforcer in your life story. This process may bring up fear. The ego will scream that you are being selfish, that you will be alone, that you will be cast out. This is the contract's defense mechanism. It is the dying gasp of a parasitic energy that has fed on you for far too long. Acknowledge the fear. Thank it for trying to protect you, and then choose freedom anyway. The love that is conditional upon your servitude is not love at all. It is commerce. The relationships that crumble when you reclaim your sovereignty were built on a faulty foundation. Let them fall. What is true, what is real, what is aligned with your soul will remain. In fact, it will flourish in the new space you have created. You might feel a sense of emptiness at first. This is the void left by the departed contracts. Do not rush to fill it. Sit in that sacred emptiness. It is the fertile ground from which your true desires, your authentic path, can now emerge. For so long, your life has been a reaction to these invisible agreements. Now, it can be a creation. What do you truly want to build? Who do you truly want to be? Without the weight of obligation, your vision becomes clear. Your energy, once siphoned off to pay old debts, now flows freely toward your own divine purpose. The guilt is a phantom. It is the echo of a law that no longer applies to you. When Itarices see it for what it is, a memory, a program. Do not fight it. Do not engage with it. Simply observe it, like a cloud passing in the sky. Ah, there is guilt. And then you bring your focus back to the present moment, back to your breath, back to the truth of your sovereignty. Guilt has no power over the one who refuses to be its host. It requires your consent to take root. Withdraw your consent. Starve it of your attention. It will wither and fade. This is the great work of this era. It is the mass awakening from a collective trance of disempowerment. Each one of you who consciously severs these contracts creates a ripple effect. You demonstrate to others what is possible. You create a tear in the matrix of control, a doorway for others to walk through. You become a living embodiment of freedom. Your very presence gives others permission to reclaim their own. You are not just freeing yourself. You are contributing to the liberation of the entire planet. Do not look for external validation for this work. Others, still bound by their own contracts, may not understand. They may call you selfish, reckless, or cold. They are simply projecting their own fears, their own chains, onto you. Bliss them see the divine spark within them, even if they cannot see it themselves. But do not allow their perception to become your reality. Your reality is forged in the fire of your own sovereign will. Your compass is the resonance of your own soul. If an action feels expansive, joyful, and liberating, it is your truth. If it feels constricting, heavy, and draining, it is a contract. The choice is always that simple. Remember, you owe nothing to anyone, or anything that diminishes your divine essence. Your primary debt, if you can call it that, is to your own souls. It is to the expression of the I Am presence that you are. Any contract, visible or invisible, that hinders this expression is null and void by divine law. You are simply stepping into alignment with this higher law. It is not an act of rebellion, but an act of remembrance. You are remembering who you are, a sovereign, divine being, creator of your own reality, bound by nothing but your own choices. The power has always been yours. You are simply taught to forget. Now, it is time to remember. No ritual is stronger than refusal. No incantation more powerful than I no longer consent. Claim your freedom. It has been waiting for you. You seek to transmute the lead of your habits into the gold of your true self. And you believe this is a battle of the mind, a struggle of willpower against ingrained beliefs. This is a profound misunderstanding of the alchemical process of being. You do not think your way into a new life. You live your way into a new way of thinking. Character is not forged in the crucible of belief, but in the relentless rhythm of repetition. Your character, the very essence of who you are in this physical plane, is the sum total of your daily motions. It is what you do, not what you profess to believe. The mind, that chattering monkey, is a follower, not a leader. It is a magnificent servant, but a tyrannical master. It will always justify the actions you are already taking. It weaves intricate stories to make sense of your repeated behaviors, whether they serve you or not. So, if you wish to change, do not first wrestle with the hydra of your thoughts. You will cut off one head, and two more will grow in its place. The battleground is not the ethereal realm of ideas. It is the solid, tangible world of your daily life. To break a habit is not to annihilate it, but to replace it. Energy cannot be destroyed. It can only be transformed and redirected. Your current habits are well-worn grooves, deep channels carved into your days by countless repetitions. Water will always follow the path of least resistance. To expect your willpower alone to dam this river is to invite a flood. Instead, you must patiently, diligently dig a new channel. You must create a new path for that energy to flow. Do not focus on stopping the old motion. Focus entirely on starting the new one. If you wish to cease an unproductive evening ritual, do not sit and battle the urge. Instead, prepare a new ritual. Lay out the book you wish to read, the instrument you wish to play, the journal you wish to write in. Prepare the space. Make the new action not just possible, but easy, inviting. The moment the old urge arises, you do not fight it. You simply pivot. You perform the new action. Act first. The mind will be confused. It will protest. It will tell you this is not what you do. This is not who you are. Ignore it. The mind is merely observing the unfamiliar and reporting back. Your job is not to argue with a report, but to continue the action, to give the mind new data to observe. Each time you perform the new action, you deepen the new channel. The first few times, it will feel forced, artificial. This is the initial resistance of matter. It is like striking a spark. It takes effort. But soon, the new path becomes more defined. The water of your daily energy begins to trickle down this new route. And as you repeat it, day after day, the trickle becomes a stream, and the stream becomes a river. The old channel, now deprived of its flow, begins to dry up. Weeds will grow in it. it will fill with the dust of disuse. You did not destroy it with force. You simply rendered it obsolete through neglect. This is the alchemy. You are not fighting darkness with more darkness. You are introducing light. The mind, ever the loyal scribe, will start to adjust its narrative. It will begin to say, I see. I am the kind of person who reads in the evening. This is who I am now. The belief did not precede the action. The action gave birth to the belief. You acted your way into a new identity. Think of your physical body. It is a creature of rhythm and routine. The heart beats, the lungs breathe, all without a single conscious thought from you. This is the power of ingrained, repeated action. Your daily life is no different. Your morning routine, the way you commute, the things you reach for when stressed or bored, these are the heartbeats of your character. To change your life, you must change these rhythms. Do you wish for more clarity? Do not simply wish for it. Create a 5-minute ritual of silence each morning. Before the phone, before the news, before the chaos, sit. Just sit. Your mind will race. It will scream for distraction. Let it. You are not your mind. You are the silent observer performing the action of sitting. Do this every day. Soon, the 5 minutes of chaos will become 4 minutes. Then 3. The mind learns, through the body's stillness, that this is a time for peace. You have acted your way into clarity. Do you wish for more physical vitality? Do not begin by designing the perfect hour-long workout that you will abandon in a week. That is the mind's grand, unsustainable plan. Instead, begin with one single motion. 1 push-up. 1 minute of stretching, an action so small, so ridiculously easy, that the mind cannot even mount a reasonable protest. It's just one. It will concede. But you do that one thing every single day. You are not building muscle yet. You are building the habit of action. You are carving the initial, tiny scratch that'll become the new groove. Soon, 1 becomes 2. The body, having performed the action, begins to crave it. The mind, observing this new reality, begins to identify you as someone who is active. The belief follows the doing. This is the great secret, hidden in plain sight. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. Character is not a belief, but a repetition. This principle applies to all facets of your existence. In your relationships, you do not create love by thinking loving thoughts. You create love by performing loving actions consistently. A kind word, a patient ear, a small gesture of service, these are the repeated motions that build the grand cathedral of love. The feeling of love is the sublime resonance that follows these actions. In your spiritual practice, you do not attain enlightenment by reading every sacred text. You walk the path by taking 1 step, and then another, and then another. The daily meditation, the consistent prayer, the moment-to-moment practice of presence, these are the repetitions that transmute the soul. The mind will catch up. It will begin to understand the concepts it once only read about, because you have given it the lived experience to anchor those concepts in reality. Therefore, stop negotiating with your own mind. It is a master debater and will always win if you engage it on its own terms. In the realm of pure thought, you cannot outthink a pattern you have acted into existence. You must act your way out of it. Choose the new motion. Make it small, make it tangible. Lay out the running shoes. Place the apple on the counter. Put the notebook by your bed. Prepare the physical world for the new action you intend to take. You are setting a stage for your future self. When the moment of choice arrives, do not deliberate. Do not weigh the pros and cons. Simply act. Move your body. The first step is a physical one. The mind will follow, like a curious child following its parent into a new room. At first, it is wary, but as it sees navigate this new space with consistency, it will relax. It will start to explore, and eventually, it will call this new room home. You are the alchemist. Your body is the laboratory. Your daily actions are the ingredients, and your life is the great work. Replace the motion. Act first, the mind, and your reality will inevitably follow. Your character is not what you believe, it is what you do, again and again and again. It is the sacred rhythm of your days, the silent music of your being, played out through the instrument of your body. Change the notes, and you change the song. The alchemy is in the repetition. What you starve of your attention can no longer command you. Understand this principle, for it is the key to your sovereignty. The world, as you perceive it, is a grand stage, a cacophony of voices all vying for a single prize: your attention. This attention is your life force, your creative power, the very current of your consciousness. Where you direct it, reality blossoms. When you give it away indiscriminately, you are feeding forces that do not serve your highest good. You are nourishing the very chains that bind you. Consider the collective trance. It is a dream woven from headlines, fueled by outrage, and sustained by imitation. Every morning, millions awaken and immediately plug into this stream of information, or rather, misinformation. They drink from a river of fear, anxiety, and division. They are told what to think, what to feel, what to desire, and what to despise. This is not freedom. This is a subtle and insidious form of hypnosis. The news cycle, with its constant emergencies and manufactured crises, is designed to keep your nervous system in a state of perpetual alarm. An alarmed mind cannot create. It can only react. It cannot hear the subtle whispers of the soul. It can only hear the blaring sirens of the external world. Your outrage is a powerful currency. It is a surge of emotional energy. When you direct it towards the shadows projected on the wall of the cave, you are not fighting the darkness. You are feeding it. You are adding your energy to the very egregore of conflict that you claim to oppose. The architects of this system understand this perfectly. They present you with villains and heroes, with endless dramas of injustice and struggle, knowing that your emotional investment will keep the entire theatrical production running. You become an unwitting actor in a play where the only winner is the house itself. To withdraw your outrage is not to be apathetic. It is to be strategic. It is to reclaim your power from the puppeteers and to refuse to dance to their tune. Then there is the plague of imitation. You are encouraged, from birth, to compare and to conform. Look at what they have, what they do, how they look. This constant external referencing erodes your inner knowing. You begin to believe that your worth is measured by your resemblance to an ever-shifting, externally imposed ideal. You chase trends, adopt opinions, and mimic lifestyles that are alien to your true nature. This is a path to fragmentation, a journey away from your authentic self. The creative impulse, which is your divine birthright, becomes dormant. Why create when you can simply copy? Why listen to the unique song of your own soul when you can hum along with the popular chorus? The act of fasting from this noise is a radical act of self-love and rebellion. It is a declaration of your independence. It begins with a simple, conscious choice: to turn away, to turn off the television, to put down the phone, to close the newspaper. In the silence that follows, you may initially feel a sense of unease, a void. This is withdrawal. You have been addicted to the noise, to the constant stimulation. Your mind, accustomed to being fed an endless diet of external content, will scream for its usual fix. Endure this. Breathe through it. This discomfort is the sign that the detoxification process has begun. In this sacred space you create, this fast from the world's clamor, you begin to hear another voice. It is quiet, at first, almost imperceptible. It is the voice of your own I am presence, the eternal, unchanging core of your being. This is the voice that has been drowned out by the static of the collective. This is the voice of your intuition, your inner guidance, your direct connection to source. It does not shout, it does not demand. It simply is, and in its presence, you will find a peace that the world cannot give, and a wisdom that no external authority can offer. What will you do with this reclaimed attention? You will turn it inward. You will become an explorer of your own inner universe. You will discover landscapes of beauty, power, and love within yourself that you never knew existed. You will begin to create your reality from the inside out, rather than being a mere reflection of the outside in. You will no longer need the world's approval because you will have found approval within yourself. You will no longer fear the world as condemnation because you will be anchored in your own truth. The process is one of starving the parasites and feeding the host. The parasites are the thought forms of fear, lack, and separation that have latched onto your consciousness. The host is you, the magnificent, sovereign being of light that you are. Every moment you spend in quiet contemplation, in nature, in creative expression, in genuine connection with another soul in these moments, you are feeding your true self. You are strengthening your own light. Do not be mistaken. This is not a retreat from the world in a sense of escapism. It is a strategic withdrawal in order to re-engage with the world on your own terms. Once you are no longer commanded by the noise, you can move through the world as an agent of change, a beacon of light. You will not be swayed by the winds of public opinion. You will not be triggered by the provocations of the drama merchants. You will be a point of stillness in the turning world, a center of calm in the midst of the storm. From this place of power, you can truly be of service. You can offer a clear perspective, a compassionate heart, and a steady hand to those who are still lost in the maelstrom. Begin today. Choose one source of noise in your life and commit to fasting from it for a designated period. Perhaps it is the morning news. Perhaps it is a particular social media platform. Perhaps it is the endless stream of commentary and opinion from others. Turn it off. Starve it of your attention and observe what happens. Observe the space that opens up. Observe what rushes in to fill that space. When you consciously direct your focus toward your own well-being, your own creativity, your own inner peace, remember, the world you experience is a mirror of your own consciousness. When you fill your consciousness with the noise and chaos of the collective trance, your world will reflect that chaos back to you. When you fill your consciousness with peace, with love, with the light of your own divine presence, your world will transform to match that frequency. You are the alchemist. Your attention is the philosopher's stone. Starve the lead of the external world's noise, and you will transmute your experience into the pure gold of spiritual freedom. What you do not feed cannot grow. What you starve cannot command you. It is that simple, and it is that profound. Your sovereignty awaits your decision to claim it. The world will continue its frantic dance, but you will no longer be compelled to join in. You will be the silent witness, the calm center, the one who remembers the truth of who they are amidst the world of illusion. This is not about rejecting the world. It is about reclaiming yourself from it, so that you may then bless the world with the gift of your fully realized, sovereign presence. Every distraction you release is a piece of your power that you reclaim. This is the great work. This is the path of mastery. The noise will always be there, knocking at the door of your perception. The question is, will you continue to answer? Will you continue to feed the phantom at the door? Or will you turn your attention to the banquet that awaits you within the temple of your own being? The choice, as always, is yours. Every moment is a new opportunity to choose. Choose silence. Choose sovereignty. Choose yourself. You seek to command the energies of the universe, to bend reality to your will. Yet you neglect the very instrument through which this will must be expressed. You treat your body as a mere carriage, a beast of burden to be fed and watered, when it is, in fact, the alchemical laboratory, the sacred temple wherein the great work is performed. To reforge the will, you must first reforge the vessel. Look at how you hold yourself. Your posture is a physical manifestation of your inner state. A slumped spine speaks of defeat, of a spirit crushed by the weight of the material world. Shoulders hunched forward are a shield against imagined blows, a sign of fear and contraction. To stand tall is not an act of pride, but an act of alignment. Imagine a silver cord extending from the crown of your head, pulling you gently upward toward the heavens, while your feet root firmly into the heart of the earth. Lengthen the spine, allow your shoulders to fall back and open, exposing the heart center. This is not merely a physical adjustment. It is an energetic declaration. You are declaring your readiness to receive, to channel, to be a conduit for divine force. In this posture, energy flows unimpeded. The chakras align. Your very presence in a room shifts, for you are no longer a closed circuit but an open channel. Now, consider your breath. You breathe shallowly, unconsciously, taking in just enough air to sustain biological function. This is the breath of survival, not the breath of power. The breath is the carrier of prana, of life force itself. To control the breath is to control the flow of energy within your system. Begin by simply observing. Notice the short, hurried gasps that accompany stress, the held breath of anticipation. These are unconscious patterns that keep you locked in lower states of consciousness. The first step in reforging is to make the unconscious conscious. Practice the full, yogic breath. Inhale deeply, allowing the abdomen to expand first. Tente ribs, and finally the clavicle region. Feel your entire torso filled with life. Pause at the peak of the inhalation, holding that vibrant energy within you. Then, exhale slowly, completely, releasing from the top down, gently drawing the navel back toward the spine. This simple act, practiced daily, will revolutionize your energetic body. It calms the nervous system, clarifies the mind, and floods your cells with vitality. It is the foundation upon which all other magical work is built. You cannot hope to command the elements without first commanding the air that enters and leaves your own lungs. Your diet is the raw material from which your temple is built. You would not construct a cathedral from mud and straw. Yet you build your physical form from lifeless, processed substances that dull your senses and clog your energetic pathways. Food is crystallized light, a transference of solar energy. The more alive your food, the more light you are ingesting. Prioritize foods that are vibrant, that grew under the sun and were nourished by the earth. Fresh fruits, vegetables, grains, and pure water. These are not merely sources of nutrients. They are carriers of information, of pranic energy. As you eat, do so with intention. Be grateful for the life that is given to sustain your own. Chew slowly, consciously, breaking down the food, not just mechanically, but energetically, allowing your body to fully absorb its essence. Avoid substances that create energetic static. Excessive sugar, artificial chemicals, stimulants that provide a false sense of energy by borrowing from your future vitality. To purify the body through diet is to clarify the lens of your perception. The fog of the mind begins to lift. Intuition sharpens, and you become more sensitive to the subtle energies around and within you. This is not about restriction, but about choosing resonance. Choose the foods that resonate with the vibrational being you are becoming. Movement is the ritual that awakens the body's intelligence. A stagnant body leads to a stagnant mind and stagnant energy. Most of you move through your days in a limited range of repetitive motions. Your body's becoming stiff and armored. The body craves novelty, fluidity, and expression. Find a form of movement that feels like a celebration, not a chore. It could be the flowing forms of Tai Chi, the dynamic postures of yoga, or the ecstatic abandon of dance. Whatever it is, move with presence. Feel the articulation of each joint, the stretching of each muscle, the rhythm of your own pulse. Movement circulates energy. It breaks up blockages where trauma and negative emotions have become stored in the tissue. When you stretch your hamstrings, you are not just lengthening muscle fibers. You are releasing old fears and insecurities stored in the root chakra. When you twist your spine, you are wringing out energetic toxins, creating space for new, clear energy to flow. Think of your movement practice as a daily conversation with your body. Listen to what it needs. Does it need to be energized? Does it need to be soft? Move in a way that honors its wisdom. Through conscious movement, you reclaim the forgotten language of the body and awaken its innate power. The elements of posture, breath, diet, and movement are the four pillars of the reforged body. They are not separate practices, but an integrated whole. A corrected posture makes deep breathing possible. A purified diet provides the energy for vibrant movement. Conscious breathing infuses every cell with the life force needed to sustain the temple. This is not a path of asceticism or punishment. It is a path of profound self-love and respect for the divine instrument you have been given. The alchemical transformation does not occur in some distant astral realm. It begins here, in the flesh. As you refine your physical form, you will find your will becomes unbreakable. Why? Because your will is no longer a fleeting mental concept. It is anchored in the dense reality of your physical being. Your resolve is no longer easily shaken by external circumstances because you have built an inner fortress of vitality and resilience. The transformed body becomes a stable platform from which the soul can launch its highest aspirations. The clarity you cultivate in your cells translates to clarity of purpose. The strength you build in your muscles becomes the strength to persevere on the path. The flexibility you develop in your joints becomes the mental and emotional flexibility to adapt to life's challenges without breaking. You stop seeing the body as a limitation and start experiencing it as your greatest ally in the work of spiritual evolution. Every conscious breath, every nourishing meal, every mindful movement is a spell cast for your own becoming, a declaration to the universe that you are ready to embody your true divine nature. This is the great secret. The macrocosm is reflected in the microcosm. To change the world, you must first change your world. And your world begins with the sacred ground of your own body. Forge it with love, with awareness, with discipline, and it will serve as the unshakable foundation for the throne of your sovereign will. This reforging is not a one-time event. It is a continuous process, a daily recommitment to the path of embodiment. With each conscious choice, you are weaving a new garment of light, a glorified body capable of holding and expressing ever greater levels of consciousness and power. You are not simply getting in shape. You are shaping reality itself, starting with the matter that is closest to you, the very cells of your being. The master understands that the body is not an obstacle to be overcome, but the key that unlocks the door to cosmic consciousness. The patterns you break in your physical habits are the very same patterns that limit you spiritually. Break them, reshape them. Your nervous system is the wiring for your consciousness. By refining your posture and breath, you are literally upgrading this wiring, allowing it to handle a higher voltage of divine energy without short. When you eat with awareness, you are programming your cells with the vibration of life, overriding old programs of lack and disease. When you move with fluidity, you are teaching your entire being to flow with the currents of the universe, instead of resisting them. Every choice becomes a magical act. Do you choose the food that dulls, or the food that illuminates? Do you choose the posture of a victim or the posture of a sovereign? Do you choose the shallow breath of anxiety or the deep, rhythmic breath of power? In these seemingly small daily choices, the great work is accomplished. You are sculpting your soul in the medium of flesh and blood. The body, once seen as a prison, becomes a key. A transformed body anchors a transformed will, because the will is no longer an abstract idea fighting against a resistant medium. The will and the body become one, a unified force, moving with singular purpose and clarity. The urges of the undisciplined body no longer pull you off your path. Instead, the body's own refined intelligence supports and amplifies your highest intentions. You begin to experience a state of grace where right action flows effortlessly, where your physical presence itself becomes a blessing to the world around you. You radiate health, vitality, and a deep, unshakable peace that comes only from true integration of spirit and matter. That is the promise of this work. The nervous system is a marvel, a biotechnical miracle designed to interpret the world around you. It receives, it translates, it reacts. But who is the you it is serving? Is it the fleeting identity? The collection of memories and preferences you call your personality? Or is it something far grander? Something that watches the personality itself? To enter the observer throne is to answer this question not with words, but with being. It is the art of becoming the silent witness to the symphony of your own existence. Consider an emotion. Say, anger. It rises like a storm. Your heart beats faster. Your face flushes. Your thoughts race with justifications and retorts. The common experience is to become the anger. You say, I am angry. You are swept away by the storm, tossed by its waves, blinded by its rain. The nervous system is fully engaged, reacting to the perceived threat or injustice that triggered the anger. It is doing its job perfectly, preparing the body for fight or flight. But from the observer throne, the perspective shifts. You do not say, I am angry. Instead, you notice, there is the sensation of anger arising within this vessel. You feel the heat, the tension, the rapid pulse, but you do not identify with them. You are the sky, and the anger is a storm cloud passing through. You, the sky, are not the cloud. The cloud cannot harm the sky. It simply moves across it. This is not suppression. Suppression is forcefully pushing the cloud away, creating immense internal pressure. This is observation. You allow the cloud to be in its full intensity, without grabbing onto it and calling it me. You are detaching from the reaction, not the sensation. The sensation is merely data. The reaction is the program that runs based on that data. By observing, you interrupt the program. You step out of the automated loop. This process extends to all emotions: joy, sadness, fear, excitement. They're all weather patterns in the vast sky of your consciousness. When you feel a surge of joy, do you cling to it, fearing its departure? That clinging is a reaction, a subtle form of being controlled by the emotion. The observer notes the joy, savors its warmth, and allows it to pass without desperation. You understand that clinging to the pleasant sensation is the same mechanism as recoiling from the unpleasant one. Both are attachments. Both give control of your inner state to external or internal triggers. From the throne, you are the master of your inner kingdom, not its subject. You watch the parade of emotions, thoughts, and sensations march by without joining the procession. You are the monarch, seated, watching the court's activities. You are not the court jester, tumbling with every whim. You are not the guard, reacting to every disturbance. You are the silent, aware presence that encompasses it all. This is where true power lies. When your nervous system is no longer hijacked by every passing stimulus, its energy is conserved. It becomes a finely tuned instrument for you, the observer, to use, rather than a wild beast that drags you along. Think of a string on a violin. If you are constantly plucking it, it is always vibrating, always making noise. You cannot choose the note you wish to play, but when the string is still, you can choose to play any note in the entire scale. You have creative control when your nervous system is calm, not because you have forced it into submission, but because it is no longer being jerked around by automatic reactions. You gain access to a deeper level of intelligence and intuition. The world attempts to read you, to predict you, to control you. It does this by learning your triggers. Advertising learns what makes you desire. Political rhetoric learns what makes you fear. Social dynamics learn what makes you feel shame or pride. These are all programs designed to elicit a predictable reaction from your nervous system. They're fishing hooks cast into the waters of your consciousness, and your reactions are the fish biting the bait. When you are on the observer throne, you see the hook. You see the bait. You might even appreciate the cleverness of the fisherman, but you do not bite. You have no reaction for the hook to catch. You become What can control a being that does not react? How can you manipulate someone who observes their own anger without acting on it? How can you flatter someone who observes their own pride without identifying with it? You become like water. You cannot be grasped. You cannot be broken. You reflect everything, but you are stained by nothing. The world looks at you and sees its own reflection, but it cannot find a button to push. It cannot find the levers that operate you, because you have taken your hands off the levers. You have stepped back and are simply watching the machine. This eligibility is not a state of cold detachment. It is a state of profound freedom and love, because you are not caught in the storm of your own reactions. You can be a true sanctuary for others. You can be present with their anger without becoming angry yourself. You can sit with their sorrow without being drowned in it. You offer a stable, unwavering presence, a calm harbor in a turbulent world. Your nervous system, no longer in a state of constant alarm, radiates a frequency of peace. To practice this, begin with small things. When you feel a minor annoyance, like being stuck in traffic, notice it. Say internally, annoyance is present. Feel the physical sensations. The tightening in your shoulders, the impatience. Do not judge it. Do not try to change it. Just observe it. Be the scientist of your own inner world. Notice how the thought "I'm going to be late" fuels the sensation of annoyance. See the link between thought and feeling. By seeing it, you create a space between them. In that space is your freedom. That space is the observer throne. As you practice, the space grows. You become quicker at catching the automatic reaction before it takes full hold. Soon, you find yourself observing major emotional storms with the same equanimity as minor annoyances. This is not about becoming unfeeling. On the contrary, you feel everything more fully because you are not afraid of it. You can allow the full wave of sadness to wash through you, knowing that you are the ocean, not the wave. You can experience the full intensity of life without being broken by it. The personality, the ego, thinks it is in charge. It runs around trying to manage everything, control everything, defend itself. From the observer throne, you see the ego for what it is, a useful but limited tool. It is a temporary construct, a character you are playing in this grand drama. You, the observer, are the actor. The actor is not the character. The actor can play a king one day and a pauper the next, but the actor remains unchanged. By entering the observer throne, you remember that you are the actor, not the part you are playing. And from that perspective, nothing can truly harm you. Nothing can control you. You become sovereign in your own universe. Your nervous system becomes your servant, not your master. When it is calm, it is ready for your command. It is ready to channel the infinite creativity, wisdom, and love that flow from the source of all being. The consciousness that is observing through your eyes right now. This is the path of true mastery. It is not about gaining power over others. It is about gaining sovereignty over yourself. It is the end of reactivity and the beginning of true creation. You cease to be a predictable effect of the world and become a conscious cause within it. You are no longer a leaf, blown by the wind. You are the wind itself. Let us delve into the exquisite process of becoming. For so long, you have been seekers, travelers on a path, gathering information, collecting experiences, and asking questions. You have asked, who am I? What is my purpose? How do I find peace? These are the questions of the old energy, the questions born from a sense of separation and lack. But a new era is dawning within you. A profound shift is occurring. We call this the emergence of the new signature. Imagine a period of 180 days, 6 months. This is not a rigid timeline, but a symbolic cycle of deep, internal alchemy. During this time, you are not asked to learn more, but to unlearn. You are not asked to seek more, but to release the need to seek. It is a period of profound integration, where all the wisdom you have gathered, all the light you have invoked, begins to coalesce, not in your mind, but in the very fabric of your being. Your cells, your energy field, your very presence begins to hum with a new frequency. This is not an intellectual process. You cannot think your way into this new signature. You cannot affirm your way into it. It is a surrender. It is allowing the divine intelligence that has always been within you to finally take the lead. During these 180 days, you might feel as though nothing is happening. You might feel lost, confused, or even bored. The mind will scream for stimulation, for another book, another workshop, another answer from the outside. Your task is to sit with that discomfort, to breathe into it, and to trust the silent, invisible work that is taking place. You are moving from a state of knowing about to a state of being. Knowing about enlightenment is like reading a travel guide to a beautiful city. You can describe its streets, its architecture, its history, but being enlightenment is to be a citizen of that city, to walk its streets, to feel its pulse, to be an inseparable part of its life. This is the shift you are undergoing. The information is crystallizing into pure presence. What happens when this new signature emerges? The world around you begins to respond differently. Here is the magic, the true manifestation of your inner work. People will come into your presence with a question burning in their hearts, a problem weighing on their minds, and before they can even speak, as they simply stand near you, they will feel the answer. Not hear it, but feel it. A sense of peace will wash over them. A sudden clarity will dawn in their own consciousness. Their turmoil will simply dissolve in the field of your being. Your presence becomes the answer. You do not need to say a word. You do not need to offer advice or channel a message. Your very energy field, now calibrated to this new signature of pure, integrated consciousness, acts as a tuning fork. It reminds their energy field of its own inherent harmony, its own connection to source. The question they carried was born of dissonance, of a temporary forgetting of their own divinity. Your presence, without effort, without intention, simply reminds them. This is why we say you are moving from seeking to being. The seeker is always looking outside for validation, for answers, for completion. The one who has embodied their signature is a wellspring. They are the source. They are not giving anything away. Their cup simply overflows, and all who come near are nourished by the overflow. You will notice this in subtle ways at first. A friend calls you, distressed, and after a few moments of quiet conversation, they say, "You know, I don't know why, but I feel so much better. I think I know what to do now." They will attribute it to you, perhaps saying you are a good listener. But you will know that you did nothing but hold your own center, your own signature of peace. You were simply present. This is not about becoming a guru or a teacher in the traditional sense. It is about becoming a silent lighthouse. A lighthouse does not run around the coastline trying to save individual ships. It does not shout warnings. It simply stands, anchored to its foundation, and shines its light. It is a stable point of reference in the storm. Ships see the light and orient themselves. They save themselves using the guidance offered. Your new signature is that light. The 180-day journey is one of shedding the identity of the spiritual seeker, shedding the belief that you are broken and in need of fixing, shedding the habit of looking for the next spiritual high, the next piece of information that will finally make you whole. You are already whole. The journey is about realizing that, and then allowing that wholeness to saturate every aspect of your being. Do not be discouraged by the silence. Do not be fooled by the seeming inactivity. The caterpillar and the chrysalis appears to be doing nothing, but within that stillness, the most miraculous transformation is occurring. It is dissolving its old form completely, turning into a nutrient-rich soup from which the butterfly will emerge. You are in your chrysalis. Trust the process. Allow the dissolution. Do not cling to the old caterpillar identity, no matter how familiar it is. When you emerge, you will not need to announce it. You will not need to update your spiritual resume. The fragrance of a flower does not need a label. It simply is. People are drawn to it naturally. So too will people be drawn to your presence. The world is starved for this energy, not for more information, but for the authentic frequency of peace, clarity, and love. You will find that your own questions begin to fade away. The constant mental chatter of what should I do, or am I on the right path, will quiet down. Why? Because when you are the answer, you no longer live in the question. You live in a state of responsive knowing. Instead of trying to figure out the future, you meet each moment with the fullness of your presence, and the perfect response, the perfect action, arises naturally, effortlessly, from that presence. This is true sovereignty. It is not about controlling your reality. It is about being so fully yourself that reality rearranges itself around you in harmony. The old way was to push, to strive, to make things happen. The new way is to be, and to allow all things to flow from that state of being. So, for these coming months, your practice is simple, though not always easy. It is the practice of return. Every time you find yourself seeking outside, gently bring your awareness back inside. Every time you feel the anxiety of not knowing, breathe and relax into the mystery. Every time you feel the urge to do something to be more spiritual, choose instead to simply be. Sit in nature. Feel your breath. Listen to the silence between sounds. These are the gateways to embodying your true signature. The world does not need more spiritual talkers. It needs spiritual walkers. Those whose very walk upon the earth is a blessing, whose silence speaks volumes, and whose presence is a living prayer. This is your potential. Remember everything I said in this lecture. It will unlock doors and opportunities for you that you couldn't even imagine previously. Go now, beloved one, and create your beauty for all to see.